Hello, today we're going to be making groundnut stew or peanut stew. Groundnut is the Creole for peanut, just because they grow in the ground. This stew is traditionally served with chicken, so I've had it with chicken drumsticks, with thighs, and sometimes with little pieces of chicken. But today we're going to be making it with carrots. You can use any kind of vegetable that you want, to be honest, but the firmer it is, the better, because I find that absorbs the flavour a lot more. But I personally have liked using it with carrots, but you can try and experiment with whatever it is that you prefer. So what you're going to need: rice. I'm using brown rice, but you can use whatever kind of rice you like. Onions, carrots, peanut butter, all-purpose seasoning, vegetable stock cubes, tomato puree, thyme, and okay, this last one is rather irrelevant. It's peanuts. It's just to kind of garnish it, make it nice and super Instagrammable, etc, etc. But it's a completely unnecessary addition. You don't need it at all. That said, traditionally people do make their own peanut butter instead of buying it. So they'll go and they'll soak the peanuts and grind it and turn it into a paste. But, we don't have time for that. So just buy the peanut butter from whatever supermarket is nearby. But yeah, so you don't actually need this last one. But so the first thing you should do is cook your rice, and this could be cooking along whilst you're preparing the stew. You start on the stew by chopping the onions. A rough rule of thumb is about half an onion per person per serving. But for me personally, I love a lot of stew, a lot of sauce on my food.
Dripping the sauce, the drip is so saucy.
So I tend to kind of veer to maybe about 1 onion per serving. But again, it's up to your personal taste, your personal preference, how much you like, etc. So the next thing to do is to wash and peel the carrots and chop them into little semicircle sized pieces. So I like spicy food, and a lot of Sierra Leonean food is kind of spicy, but this is an optional step. You don't have to do it. So you get a Scotch bonnet pepper and you chop it up, and I like to fry it with the onions because I feel like it infuses really nicely with the food. You can also add the pepper at a later stage, and it's still good too. Sometimes you can do both. You'll fry one with the onions and then you'll add another one later. But again, it's up to you, and again, it's optional. So the next thing to do is to add the onions, the pepper, the vegetable stock, and some oil to a pot, and mix it all so that it's all evenly coated. Now, over a medium heat, fry the onions while stirring occasionally. Fry the onions for about 10 to 15 minutes until they start to go slightly brown. Then add the carrots to the pot and mix it all together. Start by adding 1 tablespoon of tomato puree and mix that in as well. Add a little bit of water and mix again. I then added another tablespoon of tomato puree. With the tomato puree, you're going to have to just do this by eye. It just needs to be a certain colour, and you'll see later what kind of colour you're going for. So just keep adding it until it gets that colour. But for me, for this time, it only needed about 2 tablespoons. Let it simmer uncovered on low heat for a while, mixing now and then. The next thing you need to do is add the peanut butter. Now you can add it straight to the pot, but sometimes, especially when it's quite firm, it's easier to put it in a little bowl, add some hot water and mix it so it's slightly more workable, and then pour it into the pot. But it doesn't really matter either way. I end up putting about 3 tablespoons of peanut butter in the pot overall. So then you add a little bit of all-purpose seasoning. So I think I added a little bit too much here, around 1.5 teaspoons should be enough. And then I added a few sprigs of thyme to the pot as well. And then I mixed it all together. You then add a little bit more water. Put the lid on it and leave it to simmer. And then after about 10 minutes, you should have a nice, rich, creamy stew. And there you have it. That's how you make groundnut stew. So all that's left now is to serve it with some rice, maybe sprinkle a little bit of those chopped peanuts, maybe a couple of grated carrots, and you're done. If you were smart, maybe you fried some plantains too, and yeah, just eat it now. That's it, done.